Hello, folks. Welcome back to another episode of Culture Shock, the show where I'm still trying to figure out what is going on with Joe Biden. As you all know, he has picked his vice president candidate, and I was absolutely stunned when we all found out who it was. That's right, Senator from California, former district attorney Kamala Harris, and I am sitting over here like, what? I just saw Joe Biden's whole campaign go up in smokes like this. But before we get started, guys, I just want you guys to like and subscribe to this video. I'm getting a lot of great feedback, and I really do appreciate it. My views are not in the hundreds of thousands, because I know you guys can see that, but it is getting some traction, and I'm getting a lot of good feedback from you guys. I really do appreciate it. So please like, subscribe, share this video out. Also, my podcast is up and running. You can find me on any platform in which you guys listen to podcasts: Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever. You can find me at The Red Conservative, Culture Shock, and exclusive content over there too. I will be doing interviews. I just did one this past weekend with a personal friend of mine, Miss Ivy, who was actually shadow banned on Twitter for reporting a active kiddie porn Twitter account. Yes, it was very disturbing. We talked a lot about that and the hypocrisy that kind of follows along with that. So give that one a listen. It's only going to be exclusively on my podcast, so go ahead and give that one a shout. So without further ado, let's get to the main prerogative here. Yes, Kamala Harris is now running for Joe Biden, and I got one little question for Joe Biden. Mr. Vice President, are you going to get a food taster? Because I honestly, I cannot stress this enough. I think you need a food taster. Do not be in the same room eating your dinner while Kamala Harris is sitting across the table from you, because, I mean, you said it yourself that you are a transitional candidate, meaning that, are you hinting at something? If I'm telling you, this isn't, we're all kind of calling it out here, buddy. Your mind is gone. You picked Kamala Harris, who's, I mean, from the other picks that you had, I guess she's the, I don't know, dude. I have no idea what's going through your head. But the moment you say you're going to have a woman VP, the radical left just says, make sure she's black. I don't know. I don't know. You could have picked anybody else, but you picked Kamala Harris, who doesn't have a very good track record. Let's just make that clear. She was a district attorney for the state of California and put a lot of people away on marijuana charges, and then laughed about it on a national talk radio when asked about smoking marijuana. Oh, you guys forgot about that, didn't you? You forgot about that. But let me tell you what, I didn't forget about that, because Tulsi Gabbard literally mopped the floor with Kamala Harris. Here, take a look.
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris, your response.
And the whole world went fucking crazy. I went crazy because I'm like, wow, they're really eating their own. Kamala Harris had no words. She had no words, because it's true. She's probably one of the most corrupt people to ever be nominated as vice president. Now, no one really cares about vice presidents. Let's get that out of the way right now. When Obama was running and he had Joe Biden, I was like, oh, I know Obama, but I don't give a fuck. Who's Joe Biden? I don't know who that is. Same thing with Trump and Pence. I don't know who Pence was. I just knew that Trump was running for president. But this actually matters, because when I said before that Biden is a Trojan horse for the radical left, I was not lying. Actually, You can just put a tattoo of Kamala Harris on Joe Biden's face, and she represents every radical policy that the radical left is trying to pass, because she's everything. But the problem with Kamala Harris is that she does not stand firmly on her deal, on her stances. She says one thing and backtracks and goes back and forth between what she wants, what she didn't want, what she now wants. And it's like, well, what are you really standing for here? You want Medicare for all, but then you kind of side with Bernie Sanders on that. And then when people tell them that Bernie Sanders' Medicare for all deal isn't all that great, you kind of backtrack and say, oh, well, I don't think Medicare for all is a good idea. I think we should probably move away from private health care. Okay, you got to make up your mind here, because there's a lot of people who aren't really for Medicare for all, who kind of like their private insurance, but you're slowly saying that we're just going to kind of take that away. But then you said you're not for socialized healthcare. So I don't really know. I have no idea where you're coming from with this. So, I mean, we all saw it during the Democratic primaries. You called Joe Biden a racist. Like, you might not have come out and said it, but you did say the quiet part out loud, and we all kind of heard it. And I mean, you just have to listen for yourself.
It was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing.
Look, everything I've done in my career, I ran because of civil rights. I continue to think we have to make fundamental changes in civil rights. And those civil rights, by the way, include not just only African Americans, but the LGBT community.
But Vice President Biden, do you agree today that you were wrong to oppose busing in America then?
No,
do you agree?
I did not oppose busing in America. What I opposed is busing ordered by the Department of Education. That's what I opposed.
Well, there was a failure of states to integrate public schools in America. I was part of the second class to integrate Berkeley, California public schools almost 2 decades after Brown v. Board of Education.
Because your city council made that decision. It was a local decision.
So that's where the federal government must step in. That's why we have the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act. That's why we need to pass the Equality Act. That's why we need to pass the ERA, because there are moments in history where states fail to preserve the civil rights.
Absolutely bonkers. You said that to this man, and now you guys are all buddy-buddy about being vice president and president together. And it's sort of weird, because it's like, well, what the hell happened here? You completely demolished Biden during the primaries, but now you guys are all buddy-buddy. I mean, isn't the whole point about radical left is to fight racism? And if you're claiming that Joe Biden was an actual racist who was for segregation, who also said that he's afraid that his children were going to grow up in a racial jungle, let's not forget that. This is the same Joe Biden who also said his mentor was the Grand Wizard of the KKK. Yet you're running with this man. Now, I'm not going to say Joe Biden's a racist. I just think maybe he probably didn't say the right things the right way. But then again, just last week, he just said the Latino community is more diverse than the Black community. So I'm going to let you guys figure that out for yourself, because I honestly don't know where Joe Biden is mentally right now. I mean, the dude is actually senile, and it proves because he just picked Kamala Harris, who doesn't have a track record, okay? Kamala Harris's track record is not all there. Let's keep in mind that she rose to the top by dating her boss, who was married at the time. He was 60, she was 30. Willie Brown, Willie Brown, I think that was his name. I don't really have his name in front of me, but that was the case. And she was promoted as a benefit of having that relationship. Then she became a DA, put a lot of Black men away on marijuana charges, and just like Tulsi Gabbard demolished her again, she also stated that she smoked marijuana, when at the time in California, and I think it still is, illegal to smoke or even have possession of. So to the vast American public, Kamala Harris is very off-putting because she doesn't seem as authentic. She seems very mechanical, manipulative, and doesn't seem like she's in full control of her actions and the way she approaches things. It seems like she says something and then someone whispers to her, hey, no, don't say that, take it back. And then she immediately backtracks on what she said and just kind of says something else until the wrong thing is said again, and then she immediately backtracks on that again. So she's off-putting. There's a reason why Kamala Harris dropped out of the primaries. It's because she had little to no Black support from the Black community, because she's very off-putting, and I can't say that enough. She's not there. She's not African American. Let's get that straight. She's not African American. Her father is from Jamaica. Her mother is from India. Both are immigrants. So again, I'm going to make this very clear. These people who are saying that America is racist would not allow a child of two immigrants, both immigrants of ethnic backgrounds, become not only district attorney, not only a Democratic senator of a state, but a vice presidential candidate. Let's get that straight. So again, if anybody is racist and misogynistic, and again, I'm not saying that he's racist, but it's very questionable. Joe Biden picked his VP based on race and sex. Kind of says a lot about Joe Biden himself. All in all, this race has got very, very interesting, because we all know that Trump couldn't get to Biden because Biden's hiding out in his basement. So a lot of what Biden would normally do if COVID wasn't a thing, he's not doing, which is kind of leaving Trump scratching his head. But you made one fatal error here, Mr. Vice President, is that you pointed to Kamala Harris and said, I want you as my vice president. And I kid you not, the moment he announced that, and he made that announcement, it was like Trump had it ready to go. There was already an attack video on Kamala Harris on Twitter that circulated probably about an hour after the announcement was made. True story. Here, check it out.
Kamala Harris ran for president by rushing to the radical left, embracing Bernie's plan for socialized medicine, calling for trillions in new taxes, attacking Joe Biden for racist policies. Voters rejected Harris. They smartly spotted a phony. But not Joe Biden. He's not that smart. Biden calls himself a transition candidate. He is handing over the reins to Kamala while they jointly embrace the radical left. Slow Joe and phony Kamala. Perfect together. Wrong for America.
Kamala Harris is not the best pick because there's so much dirt on this woman that it's not even funny. I'm telling you this right now. It's like Joe Biden picked Kamala Harris, cut her arm, threw her in a tank where there was a Trump shark floating around, and Trump shark smelled the blood, and now he's on the attack. All Trump literally has to do is attack Kamala Harris and say, this person is too radical. This is going to be your next president. Because we all know Joe Biden isn't going to survive his first term, maybe not even his first year in office. We all know it. He's not going to do it. They're already plotting to put this woman in power. And that's why Joe Biden probably decided to pick Kamala Harris, because he knows that he's not going to survive. And I'm just saying that as a highly, highly likely statistical fact. We already see him fading right now. So American people don't like Kamala Harris. I don't like Kamala Harris. I think she's extremely fake and phony. I don't like anything she says. She's all about identity politics. She doesn't really have any, I guess, policies of her own. She's just regurgitating what Commie Bernie has been saying and Elizabeth Warren has been saying for the last 2, maybe 3 years. She doesn't have anything of her own, and I think it's extremely telling that Biden and the entire Democratic Party don't really care about the American people. And a lot of people are starting to see that, and they're starting to wake up, because we know for a fact that Joe Biden isn't going to win the November election. He's not. 2020 is already going to Trump, and it's already been proven, because I can already tell you right now, Trump is going after Kamala Harris, and there's no stopping the dude. When debates actually do happen between not only Joe Biden and Trump, between Kamala Harris and Mike Pence is going to slay Croy, and he's going to slay. And I can already see that entertainment happening right now. And besides, guess what? There's no 2020 fall TV season anyway. I guess the debates for presidential election will probably be the best we get. And now that Kamala Harris is the running VP candidate for this whole entire race, oh my God. I'm already popping popcorn because this is going to be the greatest exchange in the history of greatest exchange. And I personally cannot wait. Thank you guys for watching. What do you think? Do you think Kamala Harris is the ideal pick for Joe Biden and his vice presidency? Do you think that Kamala Harris is actually plotting to get rid of Joe Biden so she can become president? Comment below. Let me know. Like this video, subscribe. And remember, guys, you guys can also catch this episode on my podcast if you can't get the video version. The link in the description. You can go ahead and click that. It'll take you to my Anchor page, which has all of everything everywhere for you guys. All of my podcasts on multiple platforms, obviously. So go ahead, check that out. Also, subscribe to the podcast as well. I would really appreciate that, you guys. Until next time, I am Will at Heroic Studios, and I will see you guys later with another shocking event in our entire culture. So enjoy yourself and watch Twitter because something's about to happen.